The first thing Annabel noticed every morning was the silence. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that felt heavy, expectant, like the office itself was holding its breath. At 5:42 a.m., the 23rd floor of Chirotech was empty except for her. Fluorescent lights hummed softly overhead. The city outside the glass walls was still half asleep, streetlights blinking like tired eyes. This was her favorite hour. Not because it was easy but because it was honest. Here, before the noise of meetings and metrics and voices louder than hers, the work spoke for itself. Code didn't interrupt. Data didn't dismiss her ideas. Algorithms didn't take credit for her thinking. Annabel slipped her laptop from her bag and settled into her chair, the same chair she had occupied for 6 years, the leather cracked slightly on the left armrest from the way she leaned when she was deep in thought. She opened the dashboard for Project Atlas, the company's most ambitious initiative yet. A multi-platform AI optimization engine. The project everyone was talking about. The project everyone thought belonged to Marcus Hale. Annabel stared at the progress graphs, watching the lines rise steadily, green, confident, undeniable. She had designed the architecture. She had solved the scaling bottleneck that nearly killed the project 3 months ago. She had worked through 5 consecutive weekends to re-engineer the predictive model when the initial framework failed under real-world conditions. Marcus had presented it. Marcus had received the applause. Her name had never left the room. She exhaled slowly, fingers hovering over the keyboard. It's fine, she told herself, the way she always did. The work matters. The impact matters. But the silence pressed back. By 9 a.m., the floor buzzed with energy. Heels clicked. Laughter echoed. Coffee machines hissed and spat like impatient creatures. Annabel sat in conference room B, notebook open, pen aligned perfectly with the margin. She had learned early that taking up too much space physically or verbally was often interpreted as aggression. Precision was safer. Marcus stood at the head of the table, sleeves rolled up, confidence effortless. As you can see, he said, clicking to the next slide, Atlas exceeded performance projections by 32%. The room murmured appreciatively. Annabel's chest tightened. 32%. That number lived in her bones. She remembered the night she'd cracked the solution at 2:17 a.m., cold pizza congealing on her desk, eyes burning as the simulation finally stabilized. That breakthrough, Marcus continued, was the result of some creative problem-solving. Annabel waited. Her name hovered at the edge of the moment, unspoken but aching to exist. Instead, the VP nodded. Impressive work, Marcus. Really impressive. Applause followed, polite, enthusiastic, clean. Annabel clapped too. She always did. Her hands moved automatically, rhythm practiced, expression neutral. Inside, something small and vital curled inward, like a flame deprived of oxygen. She glanced around the table. No one looked at her. Not even Jenna, who had once whispered, "Everyone knows you're the brain behind this." As if knowing privately made erasure acceptable publicly. The meeting moved on. Annabel stayed silent. By the time the email went out later that afternoon, kudos to Marcus Hale for his leadership on Project Atlas. Annabel felt the familiar dull ache behind her eyes. She didn't open the message immediately. She already knew what it would say. She always knew. She stayed late again that night. And the next. And the one after that. Her calendar is filled. Her workload expanded. Her recognition did not. At home, her apartment was quiet in a different way, lonely, echoing. She reheated leftovers and ate standing by the counter, scrolling through work messages she told herself she wouldn't answer. Her mother had called earlier. She let it go to voicemail. "Hi, sweetheart," the message said. "Just checking in. You sound tired lately. Call me when you can." Annabel pressed her phone face down on the counter. I don't have time to be tired, she thought. I have too much to hold together. The breaking point didn't come all at once. It arrived in fragments. A junior analyst asked Marcus a technical question about Atlas that Annabel had answered dozens of times. Marcus turned without hesitation and gestured toward her. "Annabel, you can take this." She explained clearly, concisely, and efficiently. The analyst nodded, impressed. "Great," Marcus said when she finished. Exactly. Exactly what she had built. Later that week, HR announced a promotion cycle. Annabel's stomach fluttered with cautious hope she didn't fully trust. She had delivered beyond expectations. She had the metrics. The outcomes. The proof. Her review was scheduled for Friday. She wore her navy blazer, the one that made her feel capable without feeling conspicuous. She walked into the office with her shoulders back, heart steadying itself. The meeting lasted 12 minutes. Her manager smiled sympathetically. "You're incredibly valuable, Annabel. Truly. But leadership feels you're more impactful where you are right now." "More impactful," Annabel repeated quietly. "Yes," he said. "You're indispensable." The word landed like a verdict. Indispensable but invisible. She nodded. "Thank him." Left the room with composure intact. She didn't cry until she reached the stairwell. That night, she sat alone in the office long after everyone had gone home. The city glowed beneath her, alive and indifferent. Her resignation letter sat open on her screen, cursor blinking like a pulse. "If I leave, will they finally see me?" The question had haunted her for months. Now it stood fully formed, demanding an answer. She imagined walking away. The chaos that would follow. The scrambling. The realization. But she also imagined something else staying, shrinking, carrying brilliance quietly until it hollowed her out. Her phone buzzed. An email. Subject: Urgent, Atlas Crisis. A critical system failure. A client threatening to pull out. A deadline in 48 hours. Annabel closed her eyes. This was it. She stood slowly, feeling something settle inside her, not anger, not fear, but clarity. She opened a new document. Not a resignation. A proposal. The emergency meeting was called for the next morning. Executives filled the room, tension sharp as static. Marcus looked pale. "The system's collapsing under peak load," he admitted. "We're working on a fix." Annabel raised her hand. The room stilled. Heads turned. It was rare. "I have a solution," she said. Her voice didn't shake. "But I need full authority to implement it and full transparency about ownership." A pause. Heavy. Risky. The CEO studied her. "Explain." She did. Every assumption. Every risk. Every safeguard. She spoke with precision and depth that left no room for doubt. Silence followed. Finally, the CEO nodded. "You lead this." Marcus swallowed. Annabel met his gaze, not triumphantly, not bitterly. Just honestly. For the next 36 hours, she worked with a small team she chose herself. She delegated. She guided, she trusted. The system stabilized. The client stayed. The crisis dissolved. At the follow-up meeting, the CEO stood. "Before we move on," she said, "I want to acknowledge something overdue." Annabel's heart thudded. Project Atlas exists because of Annabel. The room froze. She designed its core architecture. She solved the failures. She led the recovery. And from this moment on, her leadership will be visible. Applause erupted louder than before, Messier, real. Annabel felt tears prick her eyes, but she held steady. "This," the CEO continued, "comes with a promotion. Effective immediately." Annabel exhaled. Not relief. Release. The recognition didn't erase the past. It didn't undo the silence or the stolen moments. But it changed the future. Annabel stood taller now, not because she had been validated, but because she had finally validated herself. She spoke in meetings. She set boundaries. She claimed her work. And when a younger woman joined the team and hesitated to speak, Annabel noticed. She leaned over and whispered, "Your voice matters. Use it." The office still had its silences. But Annabel no longer lived inside them. She had become impossible to ignore, not by force, but by truth. And for the first time, the quiet architect stood fully seen, her brilliance no longer hidden in the walls of someone else's success, but shining, undeniable, earned, and her own.